We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday, September 22nd meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning. Good morning.
Madam Clerk, the first item, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There are just 2 items on the consent agenda. Are there questions or a motion?
I would move to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
It's a motion by Commissioner Cook.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Item 4, new business. A, county clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Madam Chair, this morning we have one set of vouchers dated September 21st, 2016. Total amount $1,017,242. Significant items include detention facility expenditures of $122,000 and holding accounts of $595,000. I've reviewed the vouchers and make a motion to approve as presented.
So motion by Commissioner Archer, and I have a question though. I have a difference of 6 cents.
I had 6 cents also, and then I look at the agenda and it says 0.
Okay. The official voucher, no.
It would be whatever is on 6 cents.
Okay.
Okay. All righty. It's
I was
6
reading
cents,
from
but
2
just in case.
You know how accountants get confused with numbers, Madam Chair.
Maybe the first time that I get a question.
I'll modify that to $1,017,242.06.
Okay. This motion by Commissioner Archer, I'll second. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Number 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Item B, Sheriff's Office. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-266-2016 with Porter Lee Corporation for annual maintenance of the BEAST program inventory control software in an amount of $1,278.
Morning, Commissioners. Lance Royer with the Sheriff's Office. This is our annual maintenance for that product. This is what we keep track of our evidence in the evidence room with.
Thank you. Any questions on the
Move to
contract?
approve the contract.
Second.
Motion to approve the contract by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Number 2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-267-2016 with Justin Drake to assist with the New World Transition Project and train personnel on the use of various modules for the period of October 1st, 2016 through December 31st, 2017 at a cost of $20 per hour for services performed.
Again, Commissioners, Lance Royer with the Sheriff's Office. We're hoping to enter into a contract with Mr. Drake to assist us in doing some ongoing in-depth training with our folks, learning how to use the new records management program that we've purchased and been installing for the last year. It's up and running pretty well, but there's lots of features in this, and purchasing training with this person is a bit cheaper than purchasing training direct from New World. So he's learned his training through New World, works for our office on a part-time basis, intermittent basis.
Thank you.
I would move to approve.
So motion by Commissioner Cook.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Item C, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to solicit bids for the treatment of the invasive aquatic plant Eurasian water milfoil in Lake Shawnee with an estimated cost of $130,000 from the Parks Plus Recreation operating budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. A few weeks, almost a month ago now, staff noticed that we're starting to see some Eurasian milfoil get back into the lake. I know if you recall, back in about 2012, 2013, we had this issue too. We want to get onto it much earlier this time and address it. From the other research staff has done, this is something that's going to probably periodically show up in our lakes. So we need to be prepared to address that. If you have any other specific questions regarding this, Terry Burles is here and can help me answer those questions.
Thank you, John. Any questions from the commission?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
John, perhaps you or Terry might be able to enlighten the commission. Are there other invasive issues that we have at Lake Shawnee, whether with mussels or with other environmental concerns?
I know that there are a couple, but Rich Eckert has not been coming out there very often. But some of the other more scientific invasive species that we don't want out there, Terry Burles can help.
Good morning, Commissioners. I think the primary other problem, well, two big problems that we have related to Lake Shawnee, zebra mussels, which are in the lake and are in many bodies of water throughout Kansas. They're there. They haven't created a problem yet, but they will. And there isn't a real good treatment option for them at this time. The other is just the water quality in general, and I think you're familiar with that. And we continue to take steps through best management practices for on-point solution runoff control to mitigate that water quality problem we have. That's ongoing. Eurasian water milfoil is will come and be resolved and then come back, and the zebra mussels will probably be an ongoing concern for us.
Thank
Further
you.
questions?
No, and really my point of question is more towards just making sure we're aware of what the issues with Lake Shawnee being the crown jewel of our
Mhm.
Parks and Rec system, and making sure that we're taking adequate steps as the commission to maintain it as the crown jewel, and this being part of that.
Exactly. Is that
That is a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Cook,
Second.
second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Number 2, consider approval of a request to solicit bids for concrete services for repair work and new projects.
Commissioners, this is a request for us to go out and solicit bids for flat work concrete. We have numerous places in which sidewalks, trail sections, those type of things are needing to be repaired instead of coming to you guys 10 or 15 times. I've been visiting with Betty, and she was supportive of going down this route of getting one big bid for that. John Boyd, is here, who's our green space supervisor. If you have any specific questions about what we're trying to do, we'll come back to you with whatever bids we receive.
Good, thank you. Other questions for John?
Move for approve the request for solicit bids.
This motion by Commissioner Cook,
Second.
second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Number 3, consider approval of the post-construction certificate for the Shawnee County North Community Park Fitness Trail to be submitted to the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism for reimbursement.
Commissioners, this is the project that we completed a little over a month ago. To finish that project, the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks has asked us to submit this post-construction certificate. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, John. On the approval of the request, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Number 4, consider authorization and execution of contract C-268-2016 with Custom Tree Care for tree care and cleanup, and paid per bid as services are completed after invoices are submitted from the Parks Plus Recreation operating budget.
Commissioners, this is a service that we've gone out and solicited bids for. Instead of having a large staff on hand to address these when they come up, we wanted to get a bid to assist a smaller permanent department that we have. Tom Hammer, who's in charge of our natural areas and forestry division, and works closely with John Boyd, who's our green space superintendent. Both of those two guys have worked hard on these specs. This is a supplemental. They've come in and do supplemental work for us. Tree problems, diagnosing of the tree diseases, all of those major type of things will still fall to Tom and some of his forestry experts. But when we get overloaded with the sheer amount of pruning trees, tree damage, some of those type of things, we have a bid already on hand in which we can call some of these services. Be a lot quicker than coming down constantly and asking for permission to solicit these bids. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have. And if you have any specific tree questions, both of those two guys are here to can help answer those.
Okay, thanks, John. Any questions? Commissioner Archer?
Please. John, I remember reading that for ash trees in particular, there's a bollworm problem that's I think's in Lawrence now and is maybe coming our way. Is that something we're looking at and being proactive in addressing?
Yeah, I'll have Tom Hammer address that.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners. Tom Hammer, Parks and Recreation. You're talking the emerald ash borer.
Yes.
We've been working with Kansas Forest Service and working a little bit with the city's forestry department, and they've used a couple of our ash trees in some of our parks as test trees where they'll go. One of them is over at Felker Park, right in front of the tennis courts, and they just go through and they'll girdle the tree and let it start to suffer, and that will, in theory, that will attract any beetles that are in the area. And then they can go through in the fall and take all the bark off. We can see whether there's anything that's been there. So there's one there, there's one in North Topeka, and I think there's one in a different part of town that they've done that too. So this fall we'll probably know something, but I imagine they're around.
So, but that's a test for the board.
That's just to try to attract them if they're here, to see
Okay.
see how many and see whether they're here.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Very good, thank you. Any questions?
Just not for Tom, but for John. John, overall, will this save the county money in resources and time and manpower by having this contracted out rather than maintaining a separate tree trim and crew and?
Oh, absolutely, and I think you got a little taste of that here a couple weeks ago when Josh Lehman, our outcome supervisor, came down and gave a demonstration on cartograph. Initial things are showing that we are saving significant amounts of money. We'll definitely be able to prove that in about a year or so when cartograph has some very, very good numbers for us.
Very good. We'll move approval of the contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Number 5, consider approval of request to solicit professional engineering services for the installation of a footbridge, bridge abutments, and approaches to the bridge as part of the fitness trail in Gage Park.
Now, Commissioners, the fitness trail at Gage Park is a grant opportunity that we've had with the Sunflower Foundation. Staff, namely Bill Rippon, has been able to do most of the work. He cannot put a bridge engineer stamp onto something, so this is the only part that we're going out for an RFP for professional services on. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions?
Now I'll move to approve the request to solicit professional engineering services.
Motion by Commissioner Archer.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you,
Thanks, John.
Commissioners.
D, Administrative Services, number 1, report on Moody's bond rating for Shawnee County.
Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. As you had approved, we have been in the process of refunding one of our general obligation bonds to receive lower interest rates. And as part of that process, we received our bond rating from Moody's Investors Services. That was dated September 13th of 2016. And this rating, the current rating we received was AA2 with a positive outlook. That is an increase from the prior one that had a neutral outlook, and now they have given us a positive outlook. A positive outlook generally is an indicator that the rating committee will look at moving or increasing the rating in the near term. Of course, there's no guarantees on that, but that is what that indicates. The report states that the positive outlook reflects the strong year-to-date fiscal operating results that are pointing to a 5th year of surplus, as well as the county's stated goals to maintain a healthy fund balance and a low debt burden. The report lists the credit strengths and then the credit challenges. It lists our credit strengths as 4 consecutive years of operating fund surpluses resulting in significantly improved reserve levels, low debt burden, and then also stability provided by the state capital. But it also lists as a challenge the state government and their fiscal problems right now. So I will be happy to answer any questions you have on this item.
Thank you, Betty. Are there any questions? All right.
I don't have a question, maybe just a comment that, you know, Betty, when you came on board as the audit finance director, our credit rating was not at this level. And much of this comes from your leadership and also all of our department heads. And everybody, this is not just the act of one person or the commissioners, but the whole team effort to get us to this point. And so thank you for your leadership and your service, and also to our department heads and employees in getting us to this point.
I agree. Thank you.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Mhm.
Thank you, Betty, and thanks to the team.
Do we need to take any action on this?
No,
Just move
no,
to
this is
acknowledge?
just an
Okay.
informational
All right.
presentation.
Very good. Thank you.
Number 2, consider approval of request to deposit approximately $285,000 in defeasance revenue into the capital outlay fund.
We have received some defeasance revenue. I had estimated $285,000. The actual amount actually came in at $293,994. This is defeasance revenue from the Sedgwick and Shawnee County single-family mortgage revenue bonds. And this is something that happens periodically. We receive these defeasances as these mortgages are paid off or paid down. It cannot be budgeted because we do not know when they will happen or how much they will be. So what I am asking is that for your approval to deposit these funds into the capital outlay fund for the future needs of the county. You know, as you know, the capital outlay fund is what we use for capital needs throughout the county as they arise. There's also, you know, we do try to look forward and predict what a lot of those will be, but as with anything, there's also from time to time unexpected capital needs that come up. So I'm asking for your approval to deposit these funds into the capital outlay fund.
And just as a side note, I have scheduled a department head and elected official meeting for November 3rd after the commission meeting to have not only a department head meeting, but more discussion on capital outlay. So just for information.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. I will make a motion to approve, and I strongly agree with this move. Our capital needs are going to be one of the biggest challenges we face in Shawnee County, not only in the short term but in the long term. And I think this is smart, and I'm glad we're doing it. And thank you, Betty.
I would second the motion.
I believe that was a motion.
Yes,
Sorry,
it
yes.
was. Thank you.
Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Item 5, administrative communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jeff Shavine, Kansas Expo Center. Just want to invite you down to a fun-filled weekend with cider days, Saturday and Sunday, and also the Kansas Quarter Horse Association show, which has close to 150 stalls. So very excited for everything.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else for administrative communications? No? Commissioner Cook?
Well, this weekend, outside of Cider Days, Chocolate Festival, and other events in Topeka, we also have the Tecumseh Heritage Days. It's out at Tecumseh. It's always a good event. It has fresh homemade pies. It has cowboys, cowboy poetry, bands, music, and might also note, under special sponsor, Larry and Ann Law. So, one of the sponsors.
Nice. Very good. Commissioner Archer?
Well, in addition, there's Brew at the Zoo for those people that like to drink beer. So there is just a lot going on in Topeka and Shawnee County this weekend. There really is. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And I would just like to take this, I don't have anything else to add, covered everything, but I did want to wish Jim Colson well in his new endeavors, whatever that may be. So, next item, please.
Executive sessions.
And I do not believe there's need. So we are adjourned. Thank you.